Hello everybody! How are we all doing? I'm doing great. I'm really happy. This year is going really well so far. I mean, we're only like a week, 2 weeks in, but look, I got a new light because I looked at the lighting in my last video I filmed, which was my end of 2018/2019 goals, and it was awful and it was really bad, and because I'd spent 25 minutes filming the video I didn't really have any more time to film again, so I just had to put it up, and I just thought, oh, it's awful. So hopefully this lighting is a little bit better. Let me know what you think. So I'm going to do a video today that I have been talking about for about a month, maybe 2 months. I've been asking people whether or not they'd like a Q&A, and people have said yes, we would like a Q&A, Hannah. But instead of me just answering random questions about myself that I've looked up, I asked you guys, and I got quite a few. I was quite happy with the response. A lot of them are Germany based, which doesn't surprise me because a lot of you are German, and I also express a large amount of interest in the German culture, the German people, German food, blah 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 blah. So let's just crack straight on, shall we? What is the first question? So Alan Collis has asked, what and when ignited your passion about Germany? So what ignited my passion was probably doing German history at school. For some reason we focused, in my school anyway, a lot more on German history towards the end half of my education at school than we did on English history. So I remember doing World War I in year 10 and 11, and World War II in year 10 and 11, and the Cold War in year 10 and 11, all three of which are quite heavily involving the German people and Germany as a whole. Like, the Cold War was always kind of about Berlin and the Berlin blockade and things like that. So I really got interested in German history then, and as a result got more interested in kind of the culture and what kind of built up. And obviously when you learn the history of a place, you then get interested in the current affairs, Germany and its people. And I had visited Germany, my first time was when I was 14 years old. I went to Cologne with the school I was at, and we went to the German Christmas markets in Cologne, and it was absolutely amazing. It was a magical trip. I remember going down the Rhine on a little boat, and it was great. So that made me want to go back to Germany at some point, and then the whole history thing came about and I got really excited, and then I started visiting more and more people. I was quite lucky that I had some friends from my drama group who moved to Frankfurt, so I visited Frankfurt and Darmstadt. It's a small town. I don't know, a lot of people seem to know it, so it must be quite well known. So Darmstadt I've visited 2 or 3 times, I've been there quite a lot. Berlin, Munich I've been to twice. I drove through Germany. We drove to Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt to Munich, and then Munich to Amsterdam. That was a really long drive, but it was amazing. So definitely the travelling helped ignite my passion even further, because I met amazing people and ate amazing food. I love German food so much, and yeah, it's the people, it's the culture, it's the history, it's everything that has just kept my passion alive, really. The next questions, because there's quite a few from Marco Geisel. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing anyone's names wrong. Marco says, why did you choose history and that specific subject? So that's kind of interesting, because I originally, when I was going to go to university, chose French. So when I was 18 years old, I was all set to go off to university and do a French degree. But I didn't get a fantastic grade in French because I didn't like my teacher didn't like me, and as a result I stopped working, I stopped learning, I stopped revising, and obviously with a language you have to constantly be on top of it to try and master it. So I didn't get into the university I wanted to. I didn't get in for French. So for a couple of years I thought, well, I don't need university, it's nothing, like, don't worry. And the only other 2 subjects I'd done at A-level, which is the kind of step between school and university, were drama. There is no point doing a drama degree. You either go to drama school or you go straight into acting. There's no point going to university, for me anyway, and studying drama. So that only really left history. And history was a massive passion of mine, but it was never something I kind of considered as a career, and that's still the same now, because I don't want to be a history teacher. I don't really want to be like a historian. I don't want to go and get a doctorate. I don't want to be a professor in history. It's always been a passion for me. So luckily, I'm quite glad that I've managed to get a degree in something that shows that I can read and write and pick apart massive chunks of text and analyse it and it makes me a better kind of employee. Hopefully when I eventually get a good job, they'll be able to see that I can write very well as a result of my degree. So that's why I chose history. It was something I was passionate about, and I knew it would teach me how to write properly in big chunks, which I can now do. The next question, do I have any siblings? Yeah, I do. I have 2 younger brothers. They are called Cameron and Dominic. Cameron is 21 and Dominic is 19. They are both at university, so I don't get to see them all the time because they're in different parts of the country. But yeah, we're quite close, especially me and the younger one, because we're quite similar to each other and we get along very well. Not always the case when we were younger, but we're now best pals. Which German stereotypes proved wrong? I guess that Germans have no sense of humour. Like, that's quite a big stereotype in the UK, is that Germans are very straight, they follow the rules. That is a stereotype I find that lives up. Most Germans I've met, apart from in Berlin, are very kind of, they follow the rules, they don't cross the road with the red man. I know why, don't have to tell me about the whole police fine and children and mums yelling at you, I know that now. But you still follow the rules a lot more than English people do. But then, on the other hand, the whole not having a sense of humour thing is not true at all. All the Germans I've met have been very funny, they've been quite witty, and they've been clever. Germans are known for being clever, so that has also kind of proved correct, that the Germans are very clever people. So yeah, there are a lot of stereotypes that have proved wrong, but they're the main ones. What, in my opinion, is the best and worst things about Germany? Best things is how kind of aware you are of the culture and how it came about. Like, the Germans know their history very well, a lot better than the people in the UK do. The UK history, we don't get taught of the atrocities that the British Empire committed, we get taught about Nazis. But whereas you guys are kind of, you're made to learn from your mistakes, and it's created this kind of good country that can see both sides of like an argument, left wing and right wing, whereas my country is quite isolated, hence Brexit. And I personally think that's all down to not having education in kind of what we have done to other people and why our country is the way it is now. So there you go. Where do I see myself in 5 to 10 years? 5 years, I would quite like to be engaged, maybe. Not, I don't know about married, but I'd quite like to be properly settled down with someone and thinking about maybe starting a family in the next kind of, definitely in 10 years I'd like to be married and start a family. Horror movie or romantic comedy? I would say definitely romantic comedy. I hate horror films, I can't watch them. I hate gore, I hate blood, I hate anything that's scary. So yeah, a comedy, a romantic comedy or any kind of comedy is definitely the film I would rather go for, because I'm a bit slushy at heart. My favourite kind of music? That's quite a hard one because I would listen to most things. I'd say the top kind of 3 things I listen to the most are kind of 80s music, Irish music, and musicals. I really love musicals, so I listen to a lot of kind of soundtracks from musicals in the West End and Broadway and Disney songs. Yeah, I don't have really cool music taste, I'm aware of that. Favourite game? Now, I don't know whether this is like on a console or on like a board game or something. Console-wise, I have a Nintendo Switch and I love Mario Kart. Mario Kart is my favourite thing on any kind of Nintendo console at all. It's so good. A board game, I quite like Cluedo. What's it called in Germany? I don't know. Maybe Clue? Has someone told me that before? I don't know. But Cluedo is such a fun one. I like finding out who did it in what room with what weapon. Mrs. Scarlet in the kitchen with the lead pipe kind of thing. It's good, it's fun. And the last question I've decided to answer is, have I ever thought about going to Switzerland? And this question comes from Mephisto on YouTube. Yes, I have thought about going to Switzerland quite often, but it's just so expensive, as someone has mentioned in the comments. Maybe I get to go one day when I've got a little bit more money, but not at the moment. But yeah, I would love to go one day. So it's not a no, it's a maybe, but in the future. Sorry if I didn't get to answer your question. A lot of the questions I was left were about politics, and politics is a very divisive subject. The amount of crap comments I get on normal videos really get me down sometimes, so I didn't particularly want to go into a really controversial topic and kind of discuss Brexit is the main one that everyone wants to know about. Theresa May, immigration, Labour, what they're doing about it. I might do a video one day when I pluck up the courage and kind of do a little bit more research, because I know my opinions, but then obviously it'd be a very biased video if I just said this is what's happening with Brexit without getting other viewpoints at all. So I'll think about it, but that's all I can really answer without going too deep into my political standings, which I don't really want to do just now. So I hope everyone understands that and you're not too disappointed. If anyone would like to leave a comment for another Q&A video, please do leave them in the comments below, and I will do another one soon if it's something that people would like to hear about. Maybe steer away from the Germany questions, because I love Germany, but there's only so many times I can say why I love Germany, the people, blah 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 blah. So maybe ask me something about me, or my history, or my childhood, or something interesting. Like, give me a really cool question. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and learnt a little bit more about me, and I shall see you very soon for another video. Thank you, goodbye.